This is Dr. Mariah White, host of Your Life Matters. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Jenna Burt, host of the Confessions of a Military Spouse podcast here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Confessions of a Military Spouse, where we dig deep and talk about the unspoken hard truths of what it's really like to be a military spouse. A new show comes out bi-weekly. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Confessions of a Military Spouse. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Hey, pageant pals.
I'm sick. I'm Maddie.
And I'm Jess.
And welcome back to another episode of Crowned and Dangerous.
It's been a couple days.
It has, and I honestly am not feeling too hot right now. I'm convinced Jessica gave me something.
We've both been
under
sick.
The weather.
We've both been sick for the past couple days. And I think the last podcast that we recorded, we were talking about apartment hunting, but we just moved in. So now we have a pageant pad.
I just gave, oh my gosh.
Oh no.
I just gave myself a cavity when I said, yay, but I feel like the pageant pad has, oh gosh, nobody's going to want to come here now.
Actually, the pageant pad has no furniture whatsoever.
Nope. We are recording right now on a entertainment center, or an entertainment center that we stole.
We stole it from our recycling room.
Yep.
For free.
Probably has termites or something.
We're balling on a budget. It's okay.
We are, but it works.
So last time that you tuned in to us, we were talking about dating and relationships and pageant boyfriends and basically how your involvement in pageants can affect your relationships in your life. So if you haven't listened to that, go ahead and go back and give it a listen.
Do you have a little tidbit that you want to share from that episode? Or just a little taste?
A little taste.
I have a story that I didn't tell. I told you after the podcast.
I would love to hear your story because I kind of shared my experience having a boyfriend like throughout my time competing, but I would love to hear.
Well, do you remember the story I told you about the guy that I was kind of seeing, and his family was super into like hunting, camouflage, like they wore camouflage everywhere, and he mentioned something about me to his mom, and she was like, oh no, I hope she's not one of those girls that just spends all this time doing her makeup and hair and all these things while I have like 10 eyeshadow palettes, like 3 makeup bags, which like I definitely love my no makeup days, but I also just love doing makeup and hair. I'm not as good. Like it depends. Like I can do the good straighten style.
Meanwhile, Maddie has literally been in my bathroom every morning.
I was going to ask you tomorrow, actually, will you do my hair for work? Because I just have not been I've been sick, but I also have just not been feeling myself. Yeah. Because my hair just feels really dry and staticky and straight. So I was actually, I swear to God, when I came home, I was going to ask you if you would do my hair in the morning.
I'll do your hair in the morning.
Thank you.
This is what roommates are for.
Well, the thing is, though, like I told you could teach me, but it just seems easier for me just to pop in and out.
We'll have to wait until like we're not rushing to get to work to do a little tutorial day.
I laugh because last week we were up at 6 something, 7 something, like
we
7.
Were up so early.
We had so much extra time getting ready, leisurely strolling around the apartment, Jessica doing my hair. I think today I woke up at like 7:35, 7:40, actually for work at 8 to get there by 8:30. Yeah. I don't know what time you woke up, but
my alarm went off at 6:45. And I have to be at work between 8 and 8:30, so I usually leave here by 8 because it takes me a really short amount of time to get there. But I woke up at 7:30 and gave myself a half hour, and I was like, this is fine. Everything's fine.
And I didn't tell you after I left, so I left, and then I forgot my breakfast bar. Came back and got it, locked the door, left. Forgot my almond milk because I wanted to make hot chocolate at work today. I had to come back, locked the door, left. Had to come back, forgot my lunch.
Oh my God.
Left again. So 3 or 4 times I had to go back and forth after locking my door each time and halfway down the hallway to the elevator.
So this apartment thing's going really well. We're loving life here.
We are.
It's super fun in our little pad.
In our little hut.
But today we just wanted to do kind of a casual episode because Maddie's sick and we're not going to be talking to you for an hour like we usually do.
Right on.
So we wanted to do a little bit of a Q&A, kind of advice, tips and tricks kind of thing. So we did an Instagram poll and asked you what you wanted to hear from us. So we are going to be answering some of your questions and giving our advice from our experience because Lord knows we give the best advice.
I know. Everyone just wants to be like us. I don't blame them, honestly.
I don't blame them.
Have you seen us? No.
Do you know me?
Do you know me? We were almost Miss Wisconsin. Okay.
Yeah, both of us. Really freaking close. Let's just roll right into it. So our first question that we got, and thank you if you did submit questions because we love to hear from you, so feel free to just slide into our DMs anytime.
Yes.
But the first question we got was, how do you start preparing for a pageant?
If you're like me, you do it all the week of, and you pray and hope for the best. And, like, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, but that's life.
I think
you need both.
We talked in another episode, I think, about how you were literally coming up with your talent, like, the night before the pageant.
I was.
Yeah.
But that's because anybody who knew my black and yellow routine knew that every time I did it, it came out a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I ended on the ground, sometimes I ended up. It really depended on the music the day. The cut of the I had different cuts of the music too, so there are many variations going around.
I think it's fine.
But if you're a good person like Jessica, you'll prepare like 3 years in advance.
Yeah, usually. I mean, I jotted down a few like little notes that I've taken along with me throughout the past 5 years. And I think the first one is to build relationships with other people. I know I got involved because someone reached out to me who had been involved before, who was a director and a contestant. And that was really helpful because when you create a relationship with someone, you can seek help from them and you can kind of get a different perspective, especially if you're brand new to it.
Was she like, hey, I need an extra number?
Literally, yeah. She was like, hey, I think you would be great for this. Like, just try it out. And I'm like, okay, I guess. But now she's been such a great resource for me. So if you can, get to know directors or volunteers or even fellow contestants, I think it makes it a little bit easier to prep with someone or just to have someone to reach out to.
Right. If you're doing a closed, most likely you'll have workshops and rehearsals, which I think is great for your first title. I think jumping headfirst into opens is really tough, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I had to do.
Yeah, I think it's really tough. I think that when you need all of the advice is definitely your first time trying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like...
Yeah, because even I had 2 closed titles and 2 opens. And the 2 closed ones, the 2 that I was forced to prepare for, I had deadlines. They forced me to prepare for Miss Wisconsin, whereas my 2 sweeps titles were basically like, okay, you're on your own. Here's a month before the state pageant.
Yeah.
Figure it out. So that's probably honestly where my procrastination came from.
Yeah. And from my experience, I've only ever competed in opens because there's not like a closed, smaller local in my community.
Until Jessica opens up Miss Portage.
Yeah.
Miss Endeavor.
We'll see if that happens. Miss Endeavor, could you imagine? It's like a tiny little farm town.
I kind of like it though, Miss Endeavor. It's like one word.
I'll think about it. But yeah, for opens, like I really had to kind of do things on my own quite a bit. So it's really helpful to have some sort of resource to reach out to if you don't have like a team of directors that are helping you. So definitely reach out. Another point is to map out a game plan. You don't want to jump right in and just be like, I don't know what I want to wear. Like what am I supposed to wear? What is my talent? I don't know what to do. I don't know when deadlines are. So I feel like having a game plan is good. Kind of take a peek at what people are wearing and like what's appropriate. Find something that fits your body for every area of competition.
I think that's kind of an important point, actually.
Oh, for sure.
I saw it on the doc, and I was just thinking about this. I just want to share a quick story. So I feel like, too, with interview, and I mean of all of the locals we've either been in or seen,
mm-hmm.
I feel like interview outfits are very important, and I also feel like, I don't know, this might just be a Maddie thing, but
say it.
I just see so many interview outfits that don't like fit right. Do you
No.
do you notice that?
Yes, and I think
I think it's
your
the number,
interview,
the size number that is hard for girls.
But I feel like it's not a bad idea you can buy something cheap from a store, but have it altered. Have it fitted to you, make it look good, make sure it's not too long, make sure you're not drowning in it, like also make sure it's not too short or too tight, you know?
This is the first year I got my interview outfit altered for Miss Wisconsin, and honestly, it was the best thing I could have done. But I think too, like with interview outfits, I always see, or maybe just anything in pageants, I always see girls that are like, I'm a size 2, so I'm going to order like a size 2, no matter what company it is, or like, I'm a size 0. Like, I'm like, that doesn't, I think that people just get so hung up on what the size is of something. Like, for instance, my second year, I ordered this white jumpsuit, and I'm like, I'm a size 2, I'm going to get a size 2 no matter what. And the size chart was like, oh no, you should be a size 4. And I was like, no, I'm getting a size 2. And then it came and it fit, but my butt just doesn't fit well into it. And I had to have a size 4 rush ordered, shipped to the hotel the night before my interview at Miss Wisconsin. Yeah. So no matter what the size is, just get whatever looks good on you.
Yep. Don't be afraid of color. I feel like a lot of people think that, you have to wear like black or something really plain in your interview.
I don't even think I've ever worn a black interview outfit.
I never have, because I look awful in black. I'm too pale for black, even with a spray tan.
I think blondes look good in black.
Blondes do look good in black. I never did, though.
Okay.
Okay. But, we'll chat about interview a little bit more, because we do have a couple questions about interviews. But definitely map out your game plan. Look far in advance for things that you might need. Pick a talent early on so you can really work on practicing it, except if you're Maddie.
Wardrobe talent. I'm like both last minute. I've ordered stuff so last minute.
That's okay. But yeah, time management is a big thing too. Make sure you're meeting your deadlines. Make sure you're keeping track of what you need to do so you can be prepared the day of. Another one to prepare for a pageant is to understand the job.
That's so important.
Know what you're getting into, because I feel like so many times girls are just like, I just want to wear a crown and sash. This seems like so much fun, which is fine, but like it's a job. It's not just a time where you can just put on a crown and sash and look pretty. Like there's a job that goes along with it, and it frustrates me when people jump right in without understanding the job, because
I've seen so many mock interviews where people have no idea, like nothing. They know nothing about Miss America. Mm-hmm. They don't understand, like you said, the job aspect of it. They just have really, I think, okay, to be fair though, with your first title, I do think it's very hard because you don't have any experience. Mm-hmm. I think after your first title, I think you should kind of get more into perspective. I think reading the job description is great. Because I think if you're a first timer, it's really good to nail that in your interview, to talk about the job, why you're the right person for the job. But I will not expect you to 100% know what you're getting yourself into, because it's one of those things that you just have to experience, and you just go with it, and you just make it happen. You see what happens,
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I think the judges are bound to ask you something about what you can contribute to the role.
Yes.
So if you don't understand that, and you don't know exactly what the job of a title holder is, you're going to just flop right away. So do your research and really look into what you're expected to do if you were to become a title holder. Talk to previous title holders. Just get an understanding so you can be best prepared for your interview and for the job itself if you do win.
What would you say? This is just a fun little question to throw out there. What do you think is the new job of Miss America 2.0?
Oh, God.
So moving on.
Honestly, okay, we were just talking about this right before we started recording, and Miss America has had like zero appearances, which is insane because they always say that Miss America changes her location like every 48 hours to go to a different appearance.
Oh, well.
And I'm like wondering what the heck is going on with Miss America. Throwback to our first episode. I honestly don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know. It makes me sad that I don't know, because throughout my involvement, I was always like, Miss America is an advocate. She is a leader. She is like a strong woman who is representative of everyone. But I don't really get the purpose, I guess, anymore.
A lot of people have been saying that Miss America is no longer relevant. Mm-hmm. And I kind of hate that, but I also kind of agree with it.
Honestly, if we're being completely honest, I mean, of course, Miss America, the program itself has been relevant for, I mean, it's been almost 100 years, hasn't it been? Like 98 years?
Right.
And it's been such a huge part of like American culture, and she's an icon. But within the past couple of years, like everybody kind of forgets like about Miss America, which is really sad to me.
I agree.
So I don't know. It makes me sad, but I just wish we saw more of like, I want to see what she's actually doing day to day. I want to see like Instagram lives. I want to see like what she's doing, what the job of Miss America actually is, aside from what Gretchen and Regina are posting on her Instagram page for her.
I know. I'm on the Instagram page right now, and I'm just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, I just don't understand what's going on. She's kind of fading into the background, and I'm sure like our current Miss America is a great person, but yes. I'm sad that her role as Miss America is kind of dwindling.
I agree.
Makes me sad. Moving along.
Ooh, Jessica wrote this point, and I actually really like this one, the writing and journaling one.
Yeah.
To start writing and journaling and to get to know yourself and your goals. I think this is great. Just because I remember when I changed my platform to Unblur the Lines, and I was so excited because I had my little notebook, and I just went online and wrote down all these statistics about sexual assault and consent, and I wrote down all the degrees of sexual assault when they were put into action, and I just felt so good after it, and I felt like I finally found my purpose with Miss America. Otherwise, getting to know yourself and your goals. I love journaling. I even journal. I journal definitely outside of Miss America, and I just talk about things that I'm upset about or happy about or whatever.
Yeah, that's like why I blog. It's just to get all that stuff out.
No, exactly. And just writing down, like, I think, like, if you write a pageant, like, why do I want this? What can I bring to the table? I think I always write out my closing statements, honestly, and then I kind of just wing them in an interview.
Me too. I think
Don't memorize them.
Don't memorize your closer. We'll talk about that too.
Ideas are great.
But for sure, like get a little notebook when you first decide to do a pageant, or even if you're in prep mode right now, get a notebook just to strictly dedicate to your thoughts and your feelings and your interview prep, because as soon as you write down your goals, you're like putting it out into the universe. It's there, and now you can look back on it and track yourself and see how you're doing. But I think journaling is the best way to get to know yourself and figure out who you are and what you want to accomplish. Write down your goals, write down what you want to achieve, write down a timeline for yourself. And I think that kind of puts you on track as well. And I think it's a great way to walk into the interview because you have a clear head, you know what you want to accomplish, and you have a list of it ready and prepared for you. So that has always been really helpful for me, especially preparing for an interview. Always. Next question. Someone submitted this, and it says, how do you deal with mean girls?
Were they young or old?
Fairly young? I'd have to double check.
Teenage or miss-age or
Probably
adult-ish?
miss-age.
Miss?
Probably young miss.
Young miss, like 17?
17, 18 maybe. I'd have to double check who it was.
That makes me sad.
Makes me sad because I feel like, okay, this is definitely not pageant specific because you'll find mean girls and fake people everywhere.
I think it's hard too because I would have dealt with things, I dealt with things way differently when I was 17, 18 than I do now.
Oh, same.
I feel like I was a lot more scared and a people pleaser than I am now, which I feel like I would just tell someone.
Maddie's just reckless now.
I'm just reckless. I'm wild. You know what?
Whatever.
I would say things, but they're inappropriate to say right now.
Keeping it PG.
I am trying to keep it PG, but it's so hard because I know I'm only 22 years old, and when you're a kid, your parents always say to you, you know, these things don't matter when you're older. Like when you're older, you'll laugh at these things. And even though I'm 22, like I kind of like find that now.
Yeah.
You know, I look back and I'm just kind of thinking, it doesn't matter. Those people don't matter. The things they say don't matter. Like, why do you care? But then I also this is hard because
Mm-hmm.
I also kind of border on the line of emotionless.
Yeah.
Whereas things really just go in when you're out the other.
Mm-hmm.
Even like when my parents try and yell at me for something, they know it just goes in when you're out the other.
You're like, I don't care.
Well, that's the thing. Like my dad, like I don't think they sometimes know how to. I mean, I'm 22 now, but like if I did something stupid, I don't think they would know how to discipline me.
Right.
It's like they taught me that too well.
Yeah.
Basically.
I think,
But after a while, it can't. It depends on the subject because it can really break you.
Right.
Flashback to
it's
barebacks and blue hair episode.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard when people are directly like attacking you or making you feel low.
And I think a lot of it is a misunderstanding.
It is.
Because people don't understand your intentions or what you're doing.
Yeah, I agree. And I think most of the people who are going to like pick on you or make you feel bad about yourself are people who don't understand what you're doing.
Right.
People from the outside.
When you found somebody annoying, do you think that you just don't understand what they're doing? See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like I don't want to be too like, they only don't understand you because it's like, what if they're just really
What
annoying?
if someone's actually really annoying?
Here's the thing. If everyone's mean to you, that probably means you're annoying. I'm just kidding.
You should probably change yourself. No, but in all seriousness, I feel like we've both had our fair share of like mean people or annoying people or people who have tried to just like pick us apart and make us upset. And
I do like though to look back when I think junior high age is the worst.
oh my God.
But like, I mean, I'm not in high school anymore, so maybe it's high school now. But
Yeah.
when I was 12, 13, 14, 15, I still remember like mean girls, and my mom or my mom's friends would always be like, you just watch and how many years they're going to be, in a ditch somewhere or, they're not going to be anything. And it's kind of true because now I just laugh and I feel kind of bad.
Well, right. Because people who are spreading negativity probably don't have a very positive life themselves.
But I'm a really negative person. I'm sarcastic. I'll put it
And this is why we're sitting on the floor in our living room.
I don't think it's people that just are outwardly rude to other people.
Yeah.
Like if someone's rude to me, I might be rude back.
Well, yeah, because sometimes you just have to be a little brutal.
Insert Kim Kardashian meme. It's what she deserves.
It's what she deserves. Thank you, Kim K. Sponsor us.
Oh my gosh.
This is a really hard question though.
How do you deal with them?
How do you deal with mean people?
And I feel like the easy answer that everyone gives is just ignore them.
Just ignore them, but it's so freaking hard.
I do. I think if you're okay, so first let's answer this in a pageant way and then answer it in a general life way. So pageant way, I would say if it's pageant day and they are mean to you, stay away from them because otherwise their energy will totally ruin your mellow. That's
like during state pageant week. You really have to be careful who you surround yourself with.
Oh yeah,
because
out of the 26 girls, I think not that 26 of them were all bad. Not even that. But I think I hung out with like the same 3 or 4 people all week, just because we were all such good friends.
Yeah, and it's hard because in that sort of situation on pageant day, everybody's chasing toward the same goal. And then people get competitive and like that kind of can come off the wrong way sometimes. It doesn't mean someone's a bad person.
Right.
It just means that like they're channeling their energy in a different way.
And it's hard too because it's like how do you decipher, determine when somebody's just in quote pageant game mode or someone just being rude? Because I think it is important to focus on yourself, but I also think it's bad to be selfish.
Oh yes.
So it's a really hard balance that you honestly just kind of have to gauge yourself.
You do.
I think trust your gut feeling.
Yep.
If somebody's mean to you, don't feel like you need to try and win them over and over and try and suck up to them and be nice, because I think we've all done that at some point. We're like, I don't know if they like me. Maybe I'll just go and, do whatever. It might just be them. Right. I've seen people act totally different on pageant day versus normal days.
Yeah, it's exhausting, honestly.
It is, and these things bring out either the best or the worst in people. And I think it's really up to you what you want to showcase. Mm-hmm. And like I say, basically every episode, do you know what I'm going to say?
Say it.
Is nobody remembers how you place. They remember how you treat them.
Feel.
Yes, and how you make them feel. Exactly. Because again, how many girls, 10, 15, whatever, walk away from that day, they're not going to say, this girl got third runner-up, first runner-up. She won. They're going to say, we had so much fun, or we did so much.
She was so nice, or yeah.
Yep. Stuff like that. And I can say that about, like, certain girls I have these great stories about, and some, you know, maybe not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's normal.
It is normal.
It's going to happen. Don't say it's never going to happen.
It happens everywhere. So, for mean girls in general, pageant day, avoid them. Surround yourself with the energy that you want to bring to the table. And even if you want to just, like, chill by yourself for the day, then do it. Like, if that's your focus mode, then do it. But I wouldn't recommend. Yeah,
I'd say be nice about it.
Oh, yeah, be nice about it. Like, don't ignore people, obviously. Right. But if someone's being mean or rude or just is way too intense, like, you can separate yourself completely. Yes. That's totally fine. In real life, though, screw them.
Yeah, girls, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to go back to my junior high
There was
days.
a mean girl in my high school days. Ruined my life.
Really? Tell a story.
Oh, she was the worst. So she's probably not listening. It's fine.
She laying in a ditch somewhere?
Probably. Well, she was so manipulative and controlling, and she would just want to be the boss of everything. She would lie to people. It was just, she was not a good person. And I think it stemmed from her own insecurities.
I want to hear, like, a personal, like, what did she do to you? Story.
Okay, so this was one incident.
Am I going to laugh? I'll try to be really sensitive.
I don't know. Let me try and think of one specific thing. Okay, so there was, like, me and, like, 3 other girls in my group of friends in high school. And this girl who I'm talking about, she didn't like one of the other girls in our group. And so she would always try and, like, leave her out of plans and things like that. And she would, you know, talk crap about her while she was away. And then one time, like, I confronted her about it. And I was like, you know, you probably shouldn't leave her out of plans. Like, she's a nice person. Like, we should probably invite her. That'd be great. And then she was like, no. She's like, no, we're leaving her out. I don't like her, whatever. So then when this other girl finally comes around, like, and we're hanging out and stuff, I told her about it. I was like, yeah, this girl did not want to include you in plans. Like, it was really shady.
Ooh,
I'm just letting you know. I was the snitch because I could not stand this girl, and she was being so mean and not inclusive, and it was annoying. And then she denied it all, of course. And it just made me so mad because I was like, just be honest. If you're going to be a mean person, just be honest about it.
Oh my God. I was thinking this was going to be like some, like, terrible, like,
okay, no,
she did this to me. Like,
no, but she just ruined, she was not a fun person. Like, she'd always try and control our plans all the time. And I'm like, excuse me, I'm 16. I can do what I want.
Oh my gosh. I'm thinking more like age, like 13.
Oh my God, no. This girl ruined my junior year of high school. She was the worst.
This is high school?
This was literally high school, yeah.
Oh, I didn't think I had any really mean girls in high school.
No.
Oh, wait, no. I had oh gosh, I don't know if I should talk about it. Yeah, I'm going to talk about it. One girl was so funny.
Plot twist, this is going to become an hour-long episode.
Right? Well, one was my senior year pageant, and Hannah and I both competed in it. And this one girl, Hannah and I were both in the top 3, and then this girl didn't place, which is fine, who cares? Yeah. But she won non-finalist interview. Okay. But we were all in the same gym class, and she told everybody that she won an overall interview, and, like, never even mentioned that Hannah and I were first and second runner-up. And then she made up this story later that I was bullying her, which I know probably from this podcast you're like, okay, maybe, because I just said I'm really sarcastic and negative, and now I won't care. But believe it or not, senior year of high school, I was very sensitive. And I just remember I was so upset with her because I don't think I said maybe 10 words to her the entire 2-month process of the pageant. Okay. Just because we never hung around in the same group. Like, I was always with Hannah. She was always with, like, this other girl. Mm-hmm. And she just started making this up. I don't know what her angle was, but she told my boyfriend at the time that I was bullying her. And it was like she couldn't tell me about it. And it was just this huge hurrah and to-do. But I'm trying to think to, like, normal bullying that I had when I was 12, 13. Yeah. Nobody was outrightly mean. But, I mean, like, I was so thankful. Insecure back then. Right. That it's like I was
thankful that I was never, like, hardcore bullied like that. Like, I've dealt with girls who just, like, are really annoying and rude and mean, but I've never been really shot down, and I'm very thankful for that because I know that happens to a lot of people.
And I think you just get perspective as you go through a lot of different situations. Mm-hmm. Through, I think, Miss America, through whatever title you have, I think you learn how to deal with a lot of different personalities. For sure. And that is something that you learn and you take with you through everyday life.
Absolutely.
But
I think I leave a lot more open-minded.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I think as you grow up, you kind of start to not give a you know what, and well, that's how I am at least now.
Yeah.
I mean, people
Oh
like
my God. I can't deal with people, you know?
people. I think I get annoyed, but I think it takes a lot to make me very, very upset.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, if you give everyone a fair chance and somebody proves and time again that they're, you know, people can change, but
Yeah.
It's so hard because I think when you're younger, you want to be everyone's friend.
Oh, and
I think that's all you want. And I
really
think
do. You want people to like you. You want to fit in. You want to feel like you belong somewhere.
Right.
But as you go on in life, like, I'm so happy being like by myself.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. I don't care if I have friends.
I know. Well, and that's the thing too. I remember back in junior high when I was like 12, 13, I had 3 best friends.
Yeah.
Only people I hung out with like every weekend. It was great. I was an outcast.
Yeah.
And now I look back and I loved that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I loved that.
It was so much fun.
Then in high school, like, I kind of hung out with more popular people. So I would say I was more popular by association.
Yep.
Like, I don't think me alone or myself could have been popular. So it's only because I dated a guy on the football team.
You were like that weird kid that always just kind of like tried to hang out with the
I wore like plus I wore like skulls and Avril Lavigne stuff.
Can we bring that Maddie back?
Oh, we can post a picture on the account sometime.
Please send me.
Right. And then high school, it's like when I started dating a football player and all my friends were dating football players. And, you know, you just go through that phase.
And you would all wear their jerseys.
Yep. I totally wore his jersey.
Ew.
Oh my gosh. And I just remember thinking that mattered so much back then. And then like I became like kind of popular and thought like I was so angsty and just everything was whatever. And then finally like through college and probably now I would say I feel pretty comfortable. Like freshman year, obviously not, but like senior year of college and then now you just kind of learn who your people are and you realize you don't need to have a million friends like you once thought you did in high school and be friends with everyone and campaign for prom queen and all that crap.
Ew.
Which I never did.
We didn't campaign. We never campaigned. It was just like we voted during our lunch hour and that was it.
Yeah, I was on homecoming court and I remember the girl who they campaigned so hard.
Ew. Why?
Yeah, all of us.
Why is that such a big deal?
I don't know. See, and like I think 2 or 3 or 4 of my friends were also on homecoming court with me and none of us campaigned because we're like it's a popularity contest that nobody gives a crap about on Monday.
No, I don't even remember who like won prom king and queen.
I think that stuff now I look back is so stupid.
Ugh.
Like, really, who, like, nowadays, I wonder if they'll still keep that stuff. I mean, just because I know people are, like, sensitive now, but, like, what's the point of it?
I don't know. I think it's so stupid. But at that time, though, I was like, oh, my God, I want to be homecoming queen.
See, I never really cared, I don't think.
I did a little bit.
I don't care about anything. I'm Madeline, remember? I have no emotion.
Maddie doesn't give a crap about a single thing.
I don't.
Oh, my gosh, we've been talking about this for too long.
I love that.
But yeah, mean girls, screw them. I mean, don't waste your time and energy toward people that aren't going to make you feel better about yourself.
And if that's it, if our little how many minute segment didn't help you, if you're listening to this, feel free to DM us like a certain situation. Do. Obviously, we won't say your name, but then we can help you more specifically. Yeah. Because I'm sure, I mean, I have so many stories, and I know you do too, of situations with girls growing up. Yep.
Yeah, so feel free to shoot us a DM if you have any more in-depth questions. If you don't want to, I mean, we don't even have to talk about it on the podcast. We just can start like a little advice stream in our DMs.
Right. I wonder if are guys still mean to girls, like teasing growing up?
I don't know.
Because I'll tell you one thing. Once you have your glow up, they will all be Facebook messaging you to go out on a date. Trust me, it happened to me.
Okay, literally. Can we just steer off this for a second? Because Maddie and I have just had quite the time the past couple of weeks while we've been here.
If this is where it's going, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk. Jessica wants to make fun of my love life. That's what it is.
No,
I'm leaving.
I'm quitting the podcast.
The dangerous part of Crown and Dangerous is leaving. It's called Crown now.
It's called
Goodbye.
Crowned with Jessica.
Shut up.
Anyway.
What are we steering off into?
I don't know. I forgot now, so we're going to steer back on track.
Glowing up.
Oh, yeah, about the glow up. So, yeah, you got some guy in your DMs that teased you before your glow up. And now you're, like, all hot now and
I think
successful.
We talked about this, but it's not like, I have all these men in my... I mean, I don't know how to say that.
A few DMs?
Yeah, I do. Like,
that's okay. It's always
because, I love I really love Instagram. Like, I don't know how to describe how much I love Instagram.
I mean, let me explain, because I spent like 20 minutes. I swear to you, I spent like 20 minutes taking pictures of Maddie for a good Thanksgiving post. So Maddie loves the gram.
I do. I'm always on Instagram. I love it. I love thinking of new outfits. And I love clothes too.
Yeah.
I love fashion. So I love thinking of outfits for the perfect Instagram, for the perfect caption.
True.
And when
We're
I
all
post,
Instagram whores at some point.
and when I post them out, I always get a few DMs from like random people, sometimes friends, which is fine, but like random people are kind of creepy. But the ones I'm talking about are the Facebook Messenger DMs.
Oh, no.
And those are always the people from either junior high or high school who made fun of me, didn't give me the time of day. But now since I,
Glowed up.
dyed my hair,
Successful
grew,
AF.
I'm 5'8" now. Thank you very much. Grew boobs. Like all of a sudden, they all think they can take me out on a date.
And you're like, boy, bye.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it just,
No
I think I've maybe went out on a date with one of the people from
That's
my
okay.
DMs. But I knew them and they were from high school. But
Don't make excuses.
he didn't make fun of me. I just
Okay.
was ignored.
Okay.
I was
Ghosted?
bored and ignored.
Yeah,
But that's because I was just quiet and ugly, I guess. I don't know.
that's okay. You're better now.
No, thanks. And it's so funny because I was telling one of my friends the other day, I was at a bar a few weeks ago with a kid from my high school walked in, and I was with one of my other friends, and we were talking, and the kid from my high school was like, "You can't say anything. I knew her before she was hot."
Oh
But the thing is, they're not the first person who said that to me. People tell me all the time, like, "Wow, you look so much better now." Or like my friend,
no.
or like, my friend Cal, he was
Yeah.
telling somebody that we met in Madison, he's like, "Oh, you should have seen her when she was 15.
Oh no.
Like, I really don't take offense to it. I think
No.
it takes actually quite a bit for me to actually genuinely get offended, no
Right.
matter how much I kid.
Right.
But it's true. So if a boy doesn't like you right now, he'll slide in a few years, and
He
you can
will.
ignore his sorry ass.
Yep. Just take your time. All right.
Thank you, next.
Thank you, next. Back on track. Okay. Next question was, how can I do well during my first pageant interview? Let me tell you, because I cried during my first pageant interview.
God, that makes me laugh.
Oh my God. 2014, Jess. I was 17, just a little baby angel. Wore my little pearls.
That's modest. Just kidding. Angel. I'm an angel.
I was an angel when I was 17. I've been tainted now, but
By me.
by Maddie, living with Maddie.
She lives here with me for 2 weeks. Just
Completely tainted.
becomes reckless. Doesn't care about anything.
Hi, Mom. So my first pageant interview, I walk in. We talked about my first platform multiple times.
Oh my gosh.
Because it was liver disease awareness. It is funny because I had no passion for that.
Oh, I thought you were like, it is serious though. And
No.
I love to laugh.
I mean, it is a serious thing, I guess, but it wasn't serious to me. Like my grandpa passed away from it, which was fine. Like I felt like I had some sort of personal connection, but I didn't. Walked in and they started asking me questions about my platform, obviously. And I just start bawling my eyes out because they asked me about my grandpa. And I'm like, shit. So first things first, be comfortable with your platform. And don't cry. Actually, no, first things first, wear something that makes you feel amazing. We talked about this just a second ago, but get something that makes you feel so confident and so beautiful. Get something that fits you the right way. Get opinions from other people, other directors, volunteers, but ultimately wear something that makes you feel confident and strong. You know?
Something that it goes with your personal brand, because I always wanted to wear things that were like really trendy because I love fashion. Like if I could have a job in fashion, I would die and go to heaven or hell. We don't know yet.
We'll see.
And to be determined. And I just remember, when I first wore my white jumpsuit, my first year at Miss Wisconsin, I was over the moon. Mm-hmm. Okay, not trying to be like a little biatch right now, but
you set that trend though.
It really bothered me how the next year, like 10 people wore jumpsuits, and I was kind of like, okay, really though? Like,
you were the only person that wore a jumpsuit that year. 2016 was the year.
I felt so good, and then everyone wore them, so I was like, nope, getting rid of this now. I still have it, but I'm just kind of like, ugh, really, everyone?
So good though.
That actually really annoyed me. I was like, be original, gosh.
Seriously, be original. And that's a big thing too, be original. Like, if you want to step out of the box a little bit, feel free to do so, because it makes you stand out. If you want to wear some cool heels, and freaking do it. You don't have to go with the standard nude if you don't want to.
And I do think a lot of the things are changing. Like, when I first started, it was like, you can never wear open-toed shoes during an interview. And now a lot of people do.
Open-toed, or strappies or whatever.
I wore strappy ones this year from Miss Wisconsin. Never thought I'd wear those shoes before that.
Yeah.
Times are changing.
But yeah, wear something that makes you feel great. Feel free to wear bright colors, wear crazy shoes if you want to, whatever. Like, have it match your brand and your personality, and you're good to go.
Speak loudly and slowly.
I struggle with this.
I speak way too fast. Every mock interview. Like, I would say the first mock interview out of every night, they're always, you talk so much, or you have so many thoughts, and you need to streamline them because you have a lot to say, but you need to speak slower.
Yes.
And I hate that, because there is so much that I want to say, and I want to get through so many questions.
Right. And this is really difficult, because I feel like the only way to get through this is to keep doing mock interviews before your pageant, and, have a panel of people, whether that be friends or family or volunteers, directors, whoever, get people in front of you to nitpick you and, let you know these little quirks that you have, because it's something that you might not even notice.
Right. And I think, too, know that you can separate how you interview versus everyday life. And I only say that because in everyday life, which I think I do speak really casually on this podcast, because I notice back when I listen, like enunciation, when I get excited or whatever about something, or I'm speaking fast, I don't enunciate as well. I say like a lot.
Yep.
Or I go,
Sure.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yes. I say, yeah. Or I say like ratchet or bougie. But the thing is, when I step into the interview room, all of that, I never interview that way.
Right.
It never comes out, because my first year, my directors were kind of nervous to mock interview me, because they were, saying, oh, you say all of these things and you say like all the time. And then an interview, you just kind of have to turn it on, snap it on, and get rid of it.
Right.
It's all about flipping that switch.
It is about flipping the switch. Of course, bring yourself to the table in your interview, but make sure you're polishing yourself too. Also know that you have complete control of the interview. I think a lot of people get scared. It is hard to learn. But I know, like, my first couple of pageants that I did, I was so terrified to walk into the interview room, because I was like, this is like an interrogation. Like, they're just going to question me the whole time. What are they going to ask me? What am I supposed to say? But if you think of it as a conversation, and I know this is said so many times, if you think of it as a conversation, I think it'll go a lot more smoothly, because essentially the judges just want to get to know you and your goals and what you want to accomplish. They're not there to question you. You're not in an interrogation room.
And I would say, if you don't know the answer to something, either answer something and keep it really short, or change what you were saying. I would say don't answer the question, or don't be afraid to make them laugh, because that was the thing that took me a really long time to learn, because I had serious interviews for a really long time and I just could not break out of it. But know that first of all, these aren't robots, these are people. And people are gauged, they remember you, whatever, by emotion.
By emotion and
storytelling.
Yes.
Tell stories. Stories are so important to tell. And I remember I think my best interview of all time was my Miss Wisconsin 2016 interview. My second best one, I think, was my sweeps one, my third title. And my third best one was my Miss Lacrosse year that I won. Yep. And I remember during my Miss Lacrosse interview, I talked about Keeping Up with the Kardashians, which is my favorite show. Yeah. Oh, one of them. Yeah. Nothing will beat One Tree Hill. But like things like that, things that you think that maybe I shouldn't talk about this, bring it up, because it'll make you memorable. And they'll be like, oh, that's the Kardashian girl. Or,
yeah.
That's the girl that told us embarrassing story. I think embarrassing stories are great to tell during pageant interviews.
That's fantastic. I mean, I love to have fun in an interview room, and I think that's what's so great about an interview is that you don't have to go in there and be completely serious and 100% totally professional all the time. You can laugh and you can be a little funny if that's your personality, of course. Like, don't fake it. But I remember I talked about like some of my favorite foods during an interview, and I talked about like chicken. Chicken's my favorite food, but like it's something that you can just have.
My favorite food is lean chicken.
I love lean chicken.
Oh my gosh. I see. I would hate that. I'd be like, give me a junk food, Jessica.
Well, no, someone asked me like what my spirit animal was, and I said a chicken.
Okay.
Because I loved chicken.
Wow.
I know.
Did you win that?
Relatable, first runner up.
Oh, okay. Maybe you should pick a different animal.
Maybe next time. But yeah, you have complete control of the interview. So laugh if you want to, tell the stories that you want to tell. Just let it carry itself. And if you don't like the way that it's going, bring up something else.
Yeah, I remember during my Miss Wisconsin interview this year, they asked what I would have done if somebody would have stolen all my wardrobe.
Oh,
which is a question that I've never gotten. And I looked them dead in the eye, with a straight face, and said, I would make 2 armholes in a garbage bag, and I would walk out there, and I would win the whole thing. And they just stared at me, and then I started laughing, and they started laughing back.
And you're like, okay, that was funny.
Well, no, but like it was one of the first questions they asked me that kind of, I think if you make them laugh off the bat, it really sets the tone for the rest of your interview.
It does. Be comfortable to do that. And I think it's so fun to, if you can go through your paperwork and pick out little stories with every little thing that you have on your paperwork, it will really help you steer your interview. Another thing regarding judging, don't be afraid to stop the judges and ask for clarification on a question.
I've done that all the time.
Or to clarify something you might have said previously that they might not have understood. You don't have to dig yourself in a hole.
No.
You can ask them, if you didn't quite understand a question, if you want them to reword it.
I've had feedback from mock interview judges that they've liked that.
Yeah.
That they've said, I liked how you didn't understand, but you asked. Kind of a weird thing, but they do like it.
They do like it. So you don't have to answer a question that you don't understand. You can ask for clarification or for rewording. That's not off limits. So again, you have the power to steer it. Last thing that we have for interview advice is to bring as much energy as possible, because there's nothing worse and nothing more boring than a nervous, serious interview.
Oh, yeah.
I cringe. I watched too many mock interviews to count, where it was just someone standing there all nervous and jittery, and they didn't know what to say. They didn't know how to answer. They didn't know themselves. They weren't completely confident.
Along with that, I say smile the entire time.
Smile.
I mean, you don't have to smile when you're talking about mass homicide or something like that. Or, genocide. Why would I say?
Mass genocide. Mass homicide is... Well, basically the same, wouldn't it?
Genocide is targeted towards a specific group of people.
Okay.
Like,
know more about this.
Genghis Khan had a mass genocide.
Mass genocide. Homicide would be like a mass shooting.
No, a homicide is like if you killing your family.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Yes.
This got real serious. I don't like it.
Yeah, you should say mass shooting or mass
genocide. Okay.
Genocide is like only killing people because they're Jewish.
Because of a certain background.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
We're
learning.
Smile, I would say, when they're waiting for you or when they're asking you a question, I would say a pleasant smile, because I used to get so intense on listening to the question that I wouldn't smile, and I would kind of beady eye contact
straight
with them.
Face, yeah.
My rapid zero, I always did that during mock interviews.
Yep.
But
bring that energy. Have fun with it. Before you walk in there's usually someone who brings you into the interview room too. And just, strike up a random conversation with them just to calm your nerves a little bit.
Right.
I think I hate when people are like, can you shoot me some questions before my interview? Can you please ask me questions before I go in? And I'm like, actually, no, because I'm going to have a casual conversation, because otherwise you're going to get worked up before you go in there, know? Mm-hmm. Just have a casual conversation, get out your jitters, and then go in with a fresh slate. That's my best advice. We'll see how that goes.
All right. Let us know.
Let us know how that goes. Want to read the next question?
What do I do if I don't have a talent? Don't compete.
Quit.
Don't do Miss America.
But actually, though, it's 50% of your score. So
I am so torn. This is one of those things that I'm so torn on. This is like I don't know if this was last episode or 2 episodes ago when we talked about final ballot versus no final ballot. And I said how I don't think it's fair if, you score on this, but then some, I don't know. I'm very, very torn on this because I don't think if you don't have a talent, you can't discover a talent.
That's true.
So I think everyone does have a talent.
Everyone has a talent. It might not be your traditional stage talent.
I think fun monologues are great. In the past
monologues.
year or two, I've seen some great monologues that I used to not be a monologue person. Now I think the right one can go really far.
For sure. I also love alternative things. Like I've seen speed painting that was really cool before.
Mm-hmm. I think presentation is honestly what it comes down to.
And stage presence is so big. Like even if you have like this really great talent, but you have no stage presence or personality, bye,
If I don't have a talent, I do not suggest though, if you can't sing, I would not suggest singing.
Please don't. It never goes well.
And this is the thing. I know there's a difference between not embarrassing yourself and following your heart. But I would say have someone who is lovingly honest with you.
Yes.
Because you also don't want to go out and embarrass yourself in front of an auditorium full of people.
Yep.
Because I think we've all been to pageants where we've seen that happen.
Yeah.
And I think some people may laugh, and I genuinely feel bad
I know,
for them because nobody told them.
And I think it's so important, regardless of what your talent is, please get feedback from people.
And please listen to that feedback because I also know some girls where they're like, hey, you shouldn't sing. And they say, you don't know what you're talking about.
Right. But it's
it's like, oh,
yikes. But yeah, that's such a huge piece of advice. So listen to feedback. Of course, there's some that you could take with a grain of salt.
Yes.
But from people that you trust and people who are genuinely trying to help you, take their freaking advice, because otherwise you're going to end up in last place every single time and it's your own fault.
That's so funny.
That was brutally honest. That was a little mean for me.
That was. I was a little bit shocked because I was about to say, oh, well, even if you have a great personality, like if you're a horrible talent, then you'll still get last place.
I don't know. Now I feel bad.
That is so funny.
It's okay.
It only took how many episodes? 8 episodes to get you to say something borderline.
I'm just like, that frustrates me though. That's one thing that really frustrates me is when people don't take advice or feedback. And they keep competing over and over and over.
They don't understand why they're not winning a title.
Yeah, and I'm like, girlfriend, have you taken any sort of advice? Like, that could really set you over the edge if you just tweak a few things or change a few things or just switch up your wardrobe a little bit. I don't know.
The only unless I will say is if you never want to win, you just want to be on stage.
You just want to have experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, what if
you're wasting your time?
Right. Why are you wasting your time and money? But also, the sad thing is, it's hard too because some people just do pageants for experience.
And that's okay.
Right. But it also is sad when, like, say a pageant fills up and it's girls who just don't want it or don't want to win, or
they're taking a space
from another
girl that would really like to compete.
That bothers me.
I agree. That's when you have to do one of those crazy pageants that has a million contestants. Like, just do that.
Do sweeps.
Do sweeps. Do NAM.
Do NAM. Oh my gosh.
NAM.
That's so hard. I can't even say that on
the
podcast.
We're fine. We're candid.
Yes. Well, I have friends who have done NAM, and my favorite thing is to make fun of them.
I'm sorry. I just think NAM is so funny.
I know my friend April. I don't know if she's listening to this, but
I hope she is. Hi, April.
She did NAM when she was a kid, and when she told me that, for years, I will never, ever, ever let it go. And I would say, April, I know you did NAM, but now here in Miss America, like, and I don't have anything against NAM. I just find it very funny because I see it as like a day camp for kids where you pay $1,000 and you get a free T-shirt,
right? And
everyone gets to turn on the stage,
yeah.
And I just don't. But I also am horrible because I also only really recognize like Miss America and like
Miss USA
is like the top two.
Like real pageants.
Yeah, real. Like Miss Farm, United States, Universe, Earth,
Angel.
Queen. Right. That stuff to me is a little bit more like Fairest of the Fair kind of pageant.
Watch, we just lost like 100
I know,
followers.
we probably did. And I still recognize them. I think they all have a purpose, but I would say
it's just not my cup of tea.
And I would say competitive wise,
Yep,
I would say Miss America and Miss USA
might be more top tier, I think.
Right. Though I know a lot of people are into that distinguished young women thing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't really know much about that. I'll look into it.
We'll see.
If somebody is mad about us saying that on the podcast,
please inform us.
Right, or we'll invite you on to talk about it and promote it and educate us on it, because we don't really know that much about it.
No.
But there was even kind of like a rivalry between America and USA, I would even say.
Yeah, I think there is, especially when Miss America dropped swimsuit. There were so many USA title holders that were like, Miss America girls, like, come on over. We still do swimsuit. And I'm like, ooh.
But
salt.
I like USA for the fact that I think their production's better. I think they're modern. I like the styling a lot because it's very trendy.
Fashion forward.
But we always, in the era that I competed in, aka
Miss America 1.0.
Right. Like, we would always, not like we wouldn't make fun of them, but every time you see a really stupid onstage question,
it's from a
USA girl.
Yeah.
The whole, like, Iraq and the Americas one, it's like Miss Teen.
Oh,
USA
and like
Teen,
you can't find them on a map. Right. Because we need to give people maps.
No, she was saying how she's like, she said the Iraq, such as.
Oh, no.
And everyone makes fun of pageants, I think, because of those. And those are always USA girls. And plus, like, the interviews are 2 minutes. I don't know. We just would always say that stuff. But
I would love to have a USA girl on the podcast, though.
I know. I feel like I just would have to kind of be like, do you really think that that's that hard?
I know. I'm curious.
I think it's definitely hard in the sense, like, I think training for swimsuit is very hard, and I think any interview is hard because you only have 2 minutes.
Right. So you really have to make a good impression.
At the same time, you're judged off of what, one sheet of paper? Do you get asked current events?
I'm very curious.
I don't know.
If you're a USA girl, please send us a DM. I'm curious how this process goes.
I know, and I do. And like I said, I think they have great sponsors. I love the styling. I think it would actually be really fun to be Miss Wisconsin USA. Don't love the sashes or the crowns, to be honest.
No.
They just need an update, I think.
Need an update in that sense. Everything else is like...
Yeah, I think their TV production is smoking.
Love it.
I think they get so much money in sponsorships.
Yeah.
So it's a very love. Not hate even, because I don't hate really anything about it.
Mixed feelings.
It's just not what we're used to. And
I've never competed in that. I mean, neither of us have ever competed in that
I think we're so used to Miss America saying we compete for scholarships. We have a 10-minute interview.
Education,
all of these things
Service.
that Miss USA doesn't. They focus on other things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's just our automatic reaction.
Right.
But I don't know. I think it'd be fun to compete for USA, but I just don't want to pay the entry fee.
Oh my God, it's so expensive.
Right on.
We will see. Where were we?
All right. What if I don't have a talent? Think of something. Go online, Google it, YouTube, different talents.
I have a suggestion. Ask other people what other people think you're good at.
Yeah.
I think that could be a good way to discover it. Maybe we'll see. Everyone has a talent though, so just explore a little bit. Next question. We're getting to the end here. How do I choose a good platform?
Find something that lights. Oh my God! I was about to say lights sets your soul on fire, and I almost just puked in my mouth.
So cliche.
It is.
But in reality, though, it does have to be something that you feel so passionate about. Right. I also hate the word passionate.
Me too.
Like I use that too much. But
just don't settle. That's all I can say. Don't settle for an issue because you think it's
relevant or popular.
Right. Or it has nothing to do with you.
Right. Like liver disease. Don't choose liver disease unless that's really personal to you. I would recommend listening to, let's see, what episodes do we do? Episode 4 and 5. So episode 4, we had Susan Foch on. She has this amazing platform that she's been promoting for years. And then episode 5, we talked about our own personal platforms. So take a look back and listen to those. And, we kind of talk about our own experiences going through our platforms and developing them. But find something that you genuinely feel passionate about. What are things that you wake up every morning interested in? And I think that's a great way to kind of start. Where are we at? Last question.
Should I get a pageant? Did someone actually ask that? Should I get a pageant coach?
Yeah,
really?
Someone asked that.
Young,
teen. Should you get a pageant coach?
Are you even really allowed to get a pageant coach?
Well, in the Miss America, I don't know what the Miss America contract looks like anymore. Shredded.
There's some bad things.
But there was that clause in the Miss America contract.
Before it was no, and then it was okay, you can disclose it.
You have to disclose it, yeah, if you do have a pageant coach. In all honesty, though, I think pageant coaches are a little bit useless.
I almost went to go see Don Baker when he was alive.
Yeah.
I almost saw Don Baker.
I have some of his interview prep stuff.
Yeah, and I think Don Baker was great. I'd say do your research.
Oh, that's the big thing, I guess. I shouldn't say that they're completely useless, but you need to find someone who you feel like very comfortable with, and someone who is not just trying to take your money.
Yes. I
mean, I've never had a pageant coach though before.
I don't know how many last Miss Wisconsin. I don't think any last Miss, like in the past how many years, have had a pageant coach. Because you're never allowed one. Usually.
At least not in Miss America.
Right. I think USA, they do quite a few
pageant coaches. But I just think like, and of course this is just from my own knowledge, that like a lot of pageant coaches, you're paying a lot of money for, someone who's just trying to coach you to say the right things, do the right thing, and you're not 100% genuine in your interview because of that. Of course, if you find the right one, then great. And if you're able to afford that, great.
But I could also say, what's the difference between a pageant coach and a director?
And a director, exactly. Well, a director you don't have to pay for.
Oh my God.
I mean, your directors are free.
I know, but they are your pageant coaches.
They are your pageant coaches, yeah. So, I mean, ultimately, it's like you really have to do your research on who you're spending your time and money on.
If you have the money, do it, whatever.
Try it. See how it works for you.
If you don't, honestly, I would save the money.
I would.
And put it towards something else.
Right.
It also depends how much help you need, I guess. I don't really know.
That's true. If you're just starting out, like, I think it's so much easier if you find resources elsewhere. If you're reaching out to, local directors, or you're reaching out to volunteers or former title holders, I think they have a lot of good things to say and good advice to give you that you can go to first before you decide to pay for a pageant coach. Yes. But if it comes to that, I mean, and if you can afford it, then by all means, like, try it out and see how it works for you. But I don't think you have to go out of your way to find a pageant coach.
Right.
Because we've done plenty of pageants and we've never had paid coaches ourselves. So
never.
Let's wrap this shindig up. We said this was going to be a short podcast, but now we've been on for an hour.
Oh, all right.
So sorry to our great team at Public House Media. I also want to give a quick shout out to Squadcast because they let us record for free on their platform. So I wanted to give a quick shout out to that, and also for Public House Media for having us, giving us all the resources. Yes, our great network for allowing us to share these stories with you. But let's wrap up with a would you rather.
Ooh.
So, Madeline, this kind of goes perfectly off of our last question, but would you rather have no directors whatsoever or have 10 directors or too many directors?
It would depend on which title I was on.
Okay.
But for now, I would say 10, just because I had no directors for 2 years, and it kind of lumped.
Okay.
But again, it depends on what year it would be for me.
I guess it depends on how mature and,
I keep thinking, 10, so I have one wardrobe, one interview, one personal trainer.
Yep.
Yes, that would be great. If it was 10 totally different personalities that could never get along, I would probably just say, you know what, I'm doing this on my own.
I feel like that's what I'm thinking of, 10 people who are trying to micromanage you.
Right. But I don't know. The thing is, too, is if someone tried to micromanage me, I feel like I'm the type of person where I would retaliate and be like, well, because you're doing this to me, I'm not going to respond to any of your messages. Just to stoke the fire a little bit.
Yeah.
And just watch the world burn.
This just got really morbid.
Haven't you seen, what is it? That's that Batman quote where he says, some men don't want whatever, they just want to watch the world burn.
That's terrifying. I don't remember that quote.
It's in The Dark Knight.
Okay.
Some men, oh crap, I should know this. Some men.
I'm disappointed in you.
I know. I'm sick, okay? Give me a break.
I'm sick.
I have a sick brain.
I think I would... I've had great director experiences. I've only held titles 2 times. Each of my directors were fabulous. Shout out to Katie and Abby. But I feel like I would rather have no directors than way too many. because I feel like I'm fairly efficient. Like I can get things done well on my own. But then again, I could be a hot mess sometimes. This is really difficult, but I feel like I would rather have no director and kind of like handle all my things on my own and reach out to the people that I need to, rather than having too many people in my basket. Maybe. We'll see. We'll post this on our Facebook page so you can weigh in. I'm very curious about this. I guess it depends on what kind of personality you have, though. Very curious. We have a crown cringe. Ew, Maddie's coughing again. Gross.
You were coughing first.
I was coughing first. I'm sorry I got you sick. I'm feeling great.
I hate you. I need a new host. Let me know.
We need a fill-in host while Maddie's sick. Our crown cringe, before we wrap up, says...
I meant a new host because you got me sick.
Oh, you want to replace me? I was going to replace you.
Well, I'm taking the dangerous with me.
Okay. Again, crowned with Jessica. Our crown cringe comes from a former Miss Iowa's Outstanding Teen, and she says, "When I was Miss Iowa's Outstanding Teen, I performed a dance at every local pageant. Long story short, I forgot to put my Spanx on and found out when the front row had a great reaction to my fan kick. At a pageant a week later, I was doing a Q&A on stage to kill some time, and a little girl asked me about my most embarrassing moment. And she also had the nerve to point out my undergarment mishap from the week before. Now the whole state of Iowa knows."
So, but I want to know, did she have, like, else was under her costume that she would forget to put on?
That's what I'm wondering.
Like underwear?
Or maybe it was like just a really
leotard?
skimpy Leo that she maybe just put Spanx over.
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
I want to know.
Still though, you
Because it sounds like she flashed a whole audience and
I know.
a little girl pointed it out.
I know.
Yikes. We love these crown cringes. So if you have an embarrassing moment, something awful that's happened to you, pageant related or not, I just love hearing them. Feel free to send us a DM or an email. We'll give you that information at the end. But we love to hear from you. That's all we got.
Yeah.
Good episode. Good hour-long episode. You're welcome.
I told Jessica earlier, I'm like, I really only want to do a 20-minute episode. I feel like crap.
I'm literally thinking internally, I'm like, it probably won't be 20 minutes.
Oh my gosh. I know. And I'm sitting here like
dying.
I'm going to be such a Scrooge the rest of the night.
Yeah.
All right.
Alrighty. Be sure to follow. Oh, did you hear my... Did you hear?
Okay, that made me
I need to go to bed. Okay.
7:30 at night.
Oh my god, it's 7:30.
I was sleeping yesterday by the time. I slept for 13 hours last night.
I know. That's disgusting.
I know. I hated it.
All right, let's wrap up. Be sure to follow Public House Media and Crowned and Dangerous on Instagram and like us on Facebook. We love the likes. Subscribe, rate, and review the show wherever you're listening. We just got approved to have our show on iHeartRadio, which is super, super cool. So you can head on over to iHeartRadio and find Crowned and Dangerous. We're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can literally subscribe, rate, and review on all of them. Show us that you're listening. You can comment and email us, slide into our DMs, all that jazz. We love to hear from you. We will repost you on our Instagram stories. We love it.
Right on. And we will be back in 2 weeks on December 13th for a brand new episode. If you have any ideas or things that you want us to talk about, please DM us, comment on our crap. We like that because we love ideas. But otherwise, this has been Maddie and Jess reminding you to always wear your invisible crown, keep it real, and if you do not know what to say, world peace.
Bye.